Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impressions video for you on a new Civivi, one that I've been pretty stoked about, and I know a number of you have as well. So without further ado, here we have the Civivi Conspirator. Um, right off the bat, let me say the design is very, very compelling to me. I love the look of this knife. And, essentially my thought process here is as long as Civivi doesn't really blow it, if they just, live up to their usual performance, this is going to be a pretty good knife. And so that's the bias, I guess, that I'm coming from. And initially, so far so good. I have to say this is a little bigger from Civivi. It's nice to see them back to something a little more in my size range. They've had some others. They've got lots of decent sized knives, but they do a lot of smaller stuff as well. So I'm pretty happy with the size of this. I'm really happy with the design of it. The features are pretty good as well, although I guess not all of them are absolutely necessary, but we'll talk about more of that stuff in the full review. I do want to throw in another Civivi here for a second, and that is, of course, the button lock Elementum. This was a pretty big hit for Civivi, and I think it's this knife that we really have to credit all of the subsequent button locks. Now, important to say that the way the locks work is quite different, and I'm going to do a full comparison at a later date, but just look inside there. You can see, without even me explaining anything, that these are functioning in a significantly different way. So we'll leave it at that for now. We'll come back and do a longer discussion comparing these knives. And actually I have one other button lock that I'd like to add to that for consideration, but that's a video for another day. Let me give you a quick rundown on the features here, then we'll get size and weight, and then I'll give you my overall impressions. So features. Up front, we have a drop point, high flat ground, approximately 1/8 of an inch, heavy stonewash blade. The steel on this blade is going to be Nitro V, which is a fine steel. I mean, performance-wise, it's not the greatest thing ever made, but it's definitely nothing to sneeze at, especially on a budget-ish knife. So that's nice to see up front, that blade. Moving on, we've got a button lock, which is something we've seen a little bit from Civivi recently. They've been on a little bit of a button lock kick. Of course, this button lock has a flipper tab as well as this nice fuller that allows for a really great finger spidey flick or a very comfortable roll open as well. So in terms of deployment options, I definitely like that quite a bit. It is on bearings. See if you can see. You can probably see the bearings in there now. So yeah, the knife is on bearings, and the action is what you would generally expect from Civivi. In terms of handle, we've got, well, this one happens to be black canvas micarta. There are a few other color options you could pick. Let's see, there you go. Very heavily milled out to save weight. Pillar construction. Bent over deep carry clip, which is actually deep carry, like it's riding right down here near the handle. It would have been nice to see that recessed into the micarta, but it's not the end of the world either. So that's a quick rundown of the features and the functions of the knife. What about my initial thoughts? Well, I've got to say, first of all, I do, again, really like this design. And so essentially, I was pretty kindly disposed to this knife from the start. So Civivi would have really had to mess something up badly for me to hate on this. And they haven't, right? The action is good. The detent is good. It feels pretty nice. I will say this, one thing that really does stand out to me immediately as soon as I got this out and started fidgeting with it a little bit, as you do, is the feel in hand. This is definitely one of those Civivis that is very hand filling and has a great, I just think in terms of how it feels both ergonomically and tactily is a real win. It's just the very first thing I noticed was how good this feels in my hand. So obviously there'll probably be other things that stand out to me about the knife as time goes on, but for a first impression, that's sort of the big thing. The feel in hand and the very attractive design are the standout features here. All right, there you go, guys. So that's my initial thought. I will use this, I'll carry it, I'll spend a bit of time with it, and I'll come back with a full review later. And I've also got already planned some comparison videos that I'm going to do, perhaps with another Civivi, the Elementum, like we talked about, and I've got another knife that I'd like to compare it to as well. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check out White Mountain Knives. The link is down in the description. Use my discount code SHARPSTUFF, and you'll save yourself 10% over there. All right, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.